feeling, Ashraf?
Oh, Nat, you're here. Okay, so yeah, I'm fine. So yeah, should we start the episode? By the way, wait. Just now you said you went out and you just came back.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Did you just go out like that, like without makeup and like I don't know if you're wearing makeup, but usually girls like, makeup look like a ghost. Even though they're dark skinned. They wear all this white shit.
What is
and
your
go out.
point?
I don't know.
What is your
I don't know.
point?
I'm just saying that, like, why?
Saying what? That
you're
girls
okay,
have to
you're
go
okay?
out, cover up their dark skin and whatnot? Boy, you better have a good excuse.
I'm gonna get cancelled.
Yes. Listen. By the
no,
way,
no.
guys, listen to our episode on cancelled as well. Okay. So yeah, maybe Ashraf, we're gonna get cancelled. First of all, you're already from Klang, right? Okay. So.
I'm gonna get cancelled.
Can. Oh my God, that is so clever.
Oh.
Okay. Today we're gonna be talking. We're going to be talking about dark skin today, and I feel like this is a conversation that everybody needs to have, everybody needs to be aware of.
True.
Right? And I'm going to bring in a friend of mine as well that's going to come in and we're going to talk and discuss about it. And so, without further ado, let's welcome Jacyntha. Welcome Jacyntha to Motivator Podcast. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good, guys. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I'm very excited to have this conversation, have a chit chat. We're good to go.
Yes, we are also happy to have you on, and so yeah, let's just talk a bit about who you are and who's this mysterious Anne that came into our show today. So let's just start with you introducing yourself. What's your background and all that?
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Anne. I am about to turn 23 in about 2 months. I've done
Young person.
Really? Are you sure? 23 is, very close to quarter life, so I wouldn't
Girl,
say.
I'm 27. I don't think you know what I'm talking about.
I would try to go back to 23.
Yeah,
Okay, fine.
same.
I will cherish my 23 years, okay? Okay,
Yes,
so
please.
I've done quite a bit of stuff. I was a radio announcer for quite a bit. I post content on social media, mostly TikTok and Instagram. And I just completed my degree, so that's a great thing I'm done with.
Awesome.
For now.
Congrats.
Thanks. So that's what I'm basically doing for now.
Okay, so that's really cool. You've done so many things, including like being a face in the public, being a radio announcer and whatnot. I know. So the same thing as TikTok. Have you ever encountered discrimination from people, or maybe orang atas ke apa ke, like, oh, this girl Anne, okay, she's a bit dark skinned, I'm not sure if I want to put her in the public eye, or has there ever been occurrences as such being in your role that you've been before?
Okay, I will say now, compared to last time, I feel people are progressing to being more inclusive of people of different colors, like darker colors especially. So I am thankful that in like my professional career, I have not experienced something like that, especially in terms of like my radio announcing job and stuff. But I definitely think I got more of the darker skin, like what's the word I was gonna use?
The
comments and all that, mostly when I was younger, when I was in school. Because kids, they just kind of mess around, they tease you about so many things. Like out of all the things, I mean, there are people who tease about the dark skin, there are people who tease about if you look different and those kind of stuff. So I definitely faced more of that discrimination when I was younger. And I'm thankful that growing up it has not gotten worse, thankfully.
Right.
Fingers crossed. But I don't know if that is the same for other people, because my experience is more positive as I grew older, but some people still face the same discrimination from last time right up till now.
Yep. That's very true.
It's true. Because like why I would say that I'm not saying like all famous people go through this, but also famous people who. No, but you see, it's normal. Okay, so
Okay.
you see, okay, it's the same way people view. You see, African American artists like Jay-Z, Beyonce. Beyonce is known as Queen Bee.
Right,
She's
Queen
like
Bee.
she's like the top tier of these what they call that, the singers and all that, and she's an African American. But the same way, she's also African American, but another lady, let's say from Compton or Bronx or like Detroit, like the Karat side of
The ghetto
The
side.
hood.
Ghetto. I would
Karat,
like to use
you
Malaysian terms.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
So
Okay.
Karat ghetto, the ghetto sides. So let's say there's another lady who's not famous and everything. She goes through that, discrimination. Because okay, this person, because you can go to anyone and say, oh, do you admire black people? They'll only say the names of like famous people like LeBron James and all these names.
Famous,
So so these people are celebrities. So they don't treat the people who are celebrities the same way they treat the same person of that race who is of no value to them lah. Maybe
Right.
there's just a random person, but they would treat them differently, and I think like through my experience in life in Malaysia, I think it's all about color lah. It's
Yeah.
about color. If you're a bit darker, then like it's not specifically race. It's not specifically a race thing.
Right.
So yeah, Indians go through it. Lighter skinned Indians, they don't go through the same discrimination
Right.
as darker skinned Indians. Correct?
Yes, I was just about to
So-
bring that up because I think when you mentioned Beyonce, people do say like, oh, like I love, like you mentioned earlier, like black artists and all that stuff, but it's different. You see a difference in people supporting Beyonce because she is of the fairer side of the spectrum,
Right.
actually.
Yes.
Right.
If you compare it, so
Right.
that's why even if you bring it back to Malaysian, like in Malaysia, like what we experience in terms of like the Indians, right? There is
Yeah.
already so much of discrimination within the race in terms of whether you're fair or
Yeah.
whether you're dark. And you asked me
Yeah.
earlier, like have I experienced stuff like this in terms of my professional career? I think the one consistent discrimination that I see through my eyes is definitely in like relatives and family, actually, not like
Oh.
immediate but distant families. So I definitely see like a bit of a, the comments they give you when you're a bit darker skinned, it's so irritating, and it's annoying because sometimes it comes from like really close family members, and I don't want to blame them because for example, like I love my grandma, she's like the nicest
Right.
grandma ever, but maybe during her time the discrimination was very much there, and maybe now she doesn't realize that things are progressing in a different way. So sometimes she makes comments like, oh, because I have fair cousins, and they're super great. Like I love them and all that. But my grandma will make comments like, oh, you need to go and ask your cousin about this face mask that she's doing. It's like really like apparently like really good. It whitens the skin, and it's it's so irritating for me because my grandma speaks Tamil, okay, and my Tamil is not good. So I want to tell my grandma off. I want to educate her. I want to tell her that I don't want to change my skin. I love my skin. My skin looks good, but it's so hard because I only can do this in English. So I like communicate to my mom. I'm like, Ma, tell Pati this. Tell Pati I like my skin, okay? Tell Pati I don't give a crap that my cousin's fair. Like my cousin's pretty, but I'm pretty too. So it's so tough.
Right.
It's so tough trying to like educate the older crowd. For me, that's my struggle, because I feel the younger generation, like the millennials, the Gen Zs and all that, I think I would like to think that a majority of us are progressing the right way. But yeah, it's a bit tough, sometimes it's so hard to. Sometimes I don't even bother. Sometimes like, what, if you think I'm ugly because I'm dark, go ahead.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, because you don't have to pay them no mind.
Why does another person's opinion of your physical appearance matter to you? Why does
Yeah.
it matter to you?
Yeah.
Especially if like they are not of no value to you lah.
Exactly.
Right.
So
But you know, they also grew up in that fair and lovely era. You know, that's what their first exposure to media or what beauty is all about. You know, so
Yeah.
I would say like maybe that's what happened with your grandma and other people that we have encountered. You know, that are of a boomer. I don't know what is that the term for it. Yeah. So I feel that is what it is. But to be honest, I've actually succumbed to the fall and the trap of being fair. So when I was growing up, I was very dark skinned. To be honest, my nickname until today in my household is Karapi. So Karapi is basically a black beauty, right? Correct, Ashraf?
It just means
Basically black,
black
right? Yeah.
beauty. It just means black girl. Like.
So basically, I think I just added the beauty.
You
in.
added
So anyways,
beauty.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was my household name, right? So I used to like hate it. I'm like, why would they call me Karapi? Like, why do I sound like the ugly duckling, right? For some reason. And so I was like, whatever, just grow up and live through it. And then as you grow up, there's always a lot of pimple and and it leaves scars on your face. So one day I kind of like use this product. Okay, I use this product, and the more I use it, oh my god, it was actually a bleaching cream. So basically, it whitens my skin. It whitens my skin to the point where now I'm actually getting attention from other people, and they are coming up to me and asking me, "Oh, hey, how did you what facial did you put for your face? I also want to try lah." And some say like, "Oh, you're looking more pretty," and yes, it may be a good compliment, but I just don't feel like it's a good thing because this is not an authentic thing they are complimenting me about. If they can compliment me on my fair skin, why can't you just compliment me when I'm dark skinned? And I think that's where the societal mind comes about. You start thinking,
Yeah.
yes, fair and lovely, everything is okay. But when you go through it, you actually start thinking like, why is this like, this is not right, this doesn't fit.
You want to know the reason?
What's the reason?
It's
Ashraf?
all white people. It's white people. We have to be racist. We have to be racist towards white people.
Yes.
Let's make this a standard. It's about time we give.
no, but
started going
you
on.
know what, Natasha, yours.
Yeah.
We have the exact same experience. Exact same
Right?
experience. Yes, and it's.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like pretend like I was like, oh my goodness, I love my skin so much like for the longest time. This only became like I only became extremely comfortable with my skin only a few years ago. But right up like in secondary school, the same thing happened to me. I found a cream that worked amazingly, and
Right.
it genuinely made my skin like I looked fairer, I looked more like glowy, and I kept getting compliments in school. I kept getting compliments in school, and in that moment I was obviously very happy. I was like, oh my god, people think I'm pretty. But then
Yeah,
now,
right, exactly.
looking back at it, it's so shitty. It's so crappy because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, they only started complimenting me when I started to look fair, which
Correct.
really
That-
sucks. And I'm
That
glad
is the
that
wrong thing there.
yeah, I'm so glad I moved past it. And also by the way, those creams are really dangerous. Like they have some
Yeah.
like crazy like okay, the one I was using got flagged down by like one of like the government bodies for being like dangerous. Like
Mine
having
too.
like
Probably it's the same thing.
it's probably the same cream. I swear, I'm damn
Yeah.
sure it's the same cream. So it's like they were saying like they had like mercury substances in it and stuff like that, which is so bad. That, and obviously that's why it works. Because it's like skin bleaching and stuff. So I am so glad I moved past it. And I'm kind of disappointed in myself for even falling for that whole thing in the first place. But then now looking back, you know what? It was a lesson. It's okay. I had to move. I had to go through that phase to get to like this phase where I'm like, it's all good. I don't need anything else to make my skin look fairer or whatever.
True, correct. Yeah, it's a learning process for this kind of facial products to kind of make you think like, hey, you know what? Being called Karapi is fine. Like, so what? It's just a
Yeah.
small thing. And people say, oh, Nat, you're getting darker. Oh my god. Okay, so what? What you gonna do about it, right? So yeah.
So I think recently that realization of dark is not bad, and like that it's always been a stigma of like black is bad, white is good. You see, even in yin and yang, the dark represents bad,
Right.
and the white represents good. So it's not like something that happened like 100 years ago or like 50 years ago. So this thing has been like, but to say that it's always been there also, it's not true. So because there has the rulers of the world, like the biggest, how to say, the biggest
Emperor.
tamadun. What the fuck is tamadun in
Tamadun,
English? It's not
civilization.
civilizations. Yes. So the biggest civilizations, like biggest civilizations in the world, they were like Babylon, ancient Egypt. So these civilizations, the nature of their skin, the Persian Empire, the nature of the general nature of their skin was dark skin.
Right.
And at the time, okay, like this is a little bit of history lah, like how the white washing of the world happened.
Oh, it's still happening now. Like it's no difference.
Like
Yeah.
now I would say it's people are starting to realize because of social media
Right,
that
right,
it's
right.
one good thing that's come out of social media, which is the realization and the voice
awareness.
of the minority coming out. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying. So
Yeah.
it happened like thousands and thousands of years ago. So you know what I'm saying. So it's not something, this whitewashing of our minds of like white is good, black is bad, dark is bad, light
Right.
fair is good, that
Right.
kind of thing, that stigma in the mind of the whole world. It kind of happened during when the British was colonizing the world.
Yeah.
You see, it kind of happened then because the standard stigma, the standard beauty, what they call that, beauty standards lah. The beauty standards we have today is not like it's quite recent. So like 50 years back, there was it was a different beauty standards. For example, like in Turkish Empire during the Ottoman Empire after World War One.
Right.
The beauty standards, the highest standards for beautiful women wasn't like skin slim, fair women. It was like big sized ladies.
Right.
Big sized ladies. They were the highest of the beauty standard. So, as you can see, like in the time in Europe, in where the British Empire was,
Right.
their beauty standards was what's the lebih kurang what's the beauty standards that's now lah, the skinny, fair. You see or not? So when
Yeah.
they colonized the world, they changed. So that's why it's called colonization. So when people mention colonization, they don't only the colonized us physically, they colonized us mentally,
Right.
everything, emotionally. So our views on the world became lebih kurang like them.
Right.
We live in this Indian body and everything, but our standards, like our parents
think.
grew up in that standard. Yeah,
Right.
even not gonna lie, like even my mom is like sometimes when she says I'm gonna find a wife for you, always say don't do that. So she always says I'll find a fair wife for you, like that's a
Right.
plus
Why?
point, like that's a plus point, right? Like what if she's fair and then she's like worshipping the devil or something,
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the number one
Exactly.
standard. It's not fair.
But
Yeah,
Ashraf, I bet,
most devil worshippers are white, just putting it out there.
it all ties back to white people, doesn't it, Ashraf?
I don't hate white people, by the way.
Of course you
like,
don't, because you
well,
do redneck impressions all the time on the show.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay.
It's crazy though. It's crazy that this you see, this is why I said it's sometimes so tough for me to even begin to try and educate the older crowds, because for me I mean,
Yeah.
this may sound a bit harsh, but based on my
Yeah.
experience on trying to talk to quite a number of the older crowd, to me it feels like a lost cause. It's like I rather
Yeah.
focus my attention on something that I know can have a change.
Yeah. Yes, above the age of 40, you can't do anything to them mentally. Really. They
Correct.
already abused. They already gone to trauma, so you can't do anything. Like for them in their generation, maybe our generation might be a little different because we are adapting change since we were kids. So
Correct.
like yeah, so when we grow up, we maybe not, we don't know because we haven't grown up yet. So we are the first of our generation, you know. So when we grow up, we might be more acceptable to change. But these generations, they are their parents were people who, I mean, like your grandparents. Your grandparents are people who gone through war,
Right.
who has survived war, survived the occupations and all that, colonizations. So they, in their minds, they are right because
Right.
they view us as like people who don't go through anything. We didn't we didn't go through like things that are like physically the same as them, but
Right.
for emotionally, mentally, we go through a lot compared to them because you know
Correct.
there's a lot of things that we go through. Yeah.
Right.
So one of the things is like for us dark skinned people is the stigma of that stigma that still exists lah. Like I said, it's something that's been developed for thousands of years. So
Right.
it won't just like if today we do a rally on how dark skin doesn't mean it's bad, it's not gonna get fixed the next day. So it will
Correct.
take
Yeah.
a long time also to destroy the stigma because it's strong, because it's like I said, thousands and thousands of years.
Yeah.
So it'll take this like the same effort and time to destroy the stigma lah.
Plus, you know, like it doesn't help when people come up to you and like, hey, Nat, I can't see you. You have to, you have to smile so I can see your teeth in the dark and all that stupid crap that you always listen. And in my head, I'm like, you guys got no better jokes, ah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Honestly, some people were
Yeah.
really creative with the jokes. They were really
Yeah.
creative. Like okay, if I'm not mistaken, I had a friend who said like, Anne is an echo. She can be heard, but she can't be seen.
oh my god.
And I'm like,
That's
it's a good joke.
actually that's
It's a good, and
it's a
honestly,
good. Okay, we have to respect
Yes.
the effort of the
yes.
joke. Like,
I,
it's
honestly, okay, looking back at it,
she's creatively racist.
yes, I wasn't hurt by it. Genuinely, it's like funny because
Yeah.
at that point I was like,
Correct.
you know what? It's just like jokes. It's all good, but someone else could have taken it very like to the heart. You know, someone else could have been
Yeah.
extremely like hurt by it because I think at that point I was so like I wasn't like reacting
Whatever.
to it anymore. I'm so used to it. You know, like I kind of got used to it. Like my brother is also dark. He's and when he used to go to school in the morning, because you know you wear white shirt, right? They be like,
Yeah.
baju terbang, baju terbang. And it's like, you know,
Yes, I've been through that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand.
It's like the comments
Yeah.
that people give. It's like, yeah, we are tough enough to handle it, but what if these comments that they're making, it's also influencing someone else to do that to someone else that is going to be affected by it, you know?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
at the end of the day, yeah, we can joke all we want. We can even say the joke all we want, but at the end of the day, it's like, what are we doing? Like, are we telling society that, oh, anyone can say this joke and it's funny because people laugh, you know? You shouldn't be sensitive about it. Sure, we right for society's mind and how they think
Yeah.
of what beauty, fair and dark skin is. Yeah. So, but like, and like, what are like some of the comments that you have gotten, like the bad ones that you have remembered, events? Yeah.
Yeah, like not only they are told as jokes, what are the type of comments? Like I think what Nat is saying is like it has affected your career or your well-being
okay,
or something.
I have a good story. I have a very good
Okay.
story of a comment, a meme comment I got. Okay, but again, I didn't. It happened to me at a point where I was used to the comments that I kind of laughed it
Yeah,
off.
right,
But looking back at it, I should have said something. So I went to a movie with my sister, and we went and watched a Thai ghost movie. Okay, and it was like during the
Okay.
day, so it wasn't like many people in the theater. So you know how usually
Very
Thai ghost
much,
movies are like
yeah.
the scariest.
Yeah, right.
Because you know they go full on with it. So we had like our
Right.
like expectations like through the roof. I
Right.
think everyone in the theater had their expectations through the roof. So I was sitting next to a couple. Okay, so the boyfriend is sitting right beside me and the girlfriend's beside him. So we were watching this movie and it turned out not to be that scary, which was pretty disappointing because
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
goes into the movie with certain expectations, right? And just a side note, I can understand Mandarin,
Okay.
but not very fluently, but I can understand. Especially back then,
Right,
I could
right.
speak it. I could speak and understand pretty well. So
Right.
me and my sister were just like watching movie, getting through the movie. So this dude turns to his girlfriend and he's talking quite loudly. I could hear him in Mandarin. In Mandarin, in Mandarin, he says, "The girl beside me is so black. She's scaring me more than the ghost in the
Bitch,
movie.
what?
Than the ghost in the movie."
What?
He literally said that. He literally said that, and
Yeah.
If I heard that, I would have punched him.
I
not
kid
lying.
you not. I kid you not. Because at that time I was taking like Mandarin classes every day, so I understood him word for word. He said, he basically said the girl beside me is so black, she's scaring me more than the ghost in the movie. And I just kept quiet because number one, I was in shock. Number two, I am not
Yeah.
up till this day, I am not a confrontational person at all. And I just kept it to myself because it wasn't even, it was right in the smack
Right.
in the middle of the movie. I didn't even bother saying anything. So after I left the theater, I was like, whatever. I told my sister about it, but I said it in like, oh my god, do you know what the guy beside
Right.
me said? And I was saying it in such a cool way. And my sister was like, what? My sister was so shocked. She couldn't even believe that happened. She was so mad at me for not saying anything. She was so, she was like so taken aback. And I don't know if maybe it's because okay, comparing, my sister is definitely fairer, so I don't know if she got the same comments that I've been getting all my life. So she was so taken aback, she was so shocked. And looking now, when I think
Right,
about it,
right,
I'm
right.
like, damn, I should have said something. I didn't have to get mad or anything. I should have just like spoke to him in Chinese and been like, oh, bye, just to tell him, just to
Right,
let
yeah.
him know that I understood Mandarin.
Yes.
Just to let him know that I
Yeah,
understood
and
what
you know he
said.
wouldn't
That
have
would
done
have
it. Yeah,
killed him.
correct, yeah.
Yes,
And that
yes, and I really
destroyed
regret
his-
it. I
Right.
really regret it so much, like so much. I'm
Yeah.
like, damn it, you had one job.
But the
You
thing
had
is,
one
but the
job.
thing is,
But,
whether
yeah,
if it's
okay,
your
at least now I know. Yeah.
Okay. There's plenty of other racists
I mean,
out there.
yeah,
you can
correct.
still
Whether
Yes,
if it's your
yes,
job
I
or
feel
not,
you still
the
have a
guy
chance,
was
I
at
guess.
wrong. He should have said something like that so loudly in the cinema, or even like in the midst of.
Yeah.
Yes.
He shouldn't have said. Yeah, thought about it.
No,
correct,
he
yeah.
he
Should not have
shouldn't have
said it.
even thought
Thought
of
of it.
that. The
Correct.
problem is that whole stigma,
Yes, it's
Yeah.
okay. The thing is, right, it's easy to say like, oh, you shouldn't take other people's comments like to heart. You shouldn't really care about the comments of people like talking crap about dark skinned people, but you don't understand that it kind of affects your life in so many different aspects. I'm talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
in like being inclusive in makeup.
Right.
It's as simple as that. It could be opportunities,
Right,
being
right.
like not being given opportunities. It's about not seeing someone familiar in the media, not
Right.
seeing somebody who
Yeah.
looks like you in the media. It honestly affects your life in so many different ways, and people just think
Yeah.
it stops at the beauty, like the physical side of it, but
Yeah.
Right.
it goes way beyond that, and
Right,
that's
right,
how
right.
it takes over your life. It's so unfortunate because I mentioned earlier I do like videos, like content on TikTok and all that, and a lot of it is surrounded on makeup because I definitely like I sharpen my craft in terms of doing makeup for darker skin, like on myself. So like I just share all these tips online, and you will not believe the amount of comments I get, like, oh my goodness, like you have a foundation? Like, what foundation are you using? Like, I
Right,
can't
right.
find a foundation for my skin.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like nothing is dark enough, and it's so crappy because there's so many people here that need it, that want it.
That's true.
There is a market here. It's just that we are not even, like, no one even,
Right.
it's like we just kind of push to the side.
Right.
We are like there,
True.
not there, It's like I've never heard like a fair skinned person complain about
Correct.
finding
Yeah.
a foundation, but that's the only conversation you have when you are like a group of dark skinned
Yeah,
people
right.
wanting to do
Yeah,
makeup,
even like sometimes
you know?
when people do
That's
makeup
always the
on me, or
conversation.
when I do
The
a makeup
first
on
question
myself,
I get is
darker skin, right? And I'll be like, why do I look like a ghost? Like, I literally look like a Thai ghost, right? So it's like, what is the right? Yeah, probably I'm just gonna DM you later and ask you like, what foundation do you use? So easier, yeah.
Yeah, you see? Yeah. Like that is that's the first thing people ask me, like, oh my god, what is your foundation? And it sucks because, right, it's not that it doesn't exist. It is there. Like, for example, like I'm gonna name drop like Maybelline. Maybelline has like such a wide range of like darker skin foundation, you know, but it's not like
Right.
brought into Malaysia. Like basically like they you know the places here in Malaysia, they don't even order those
Right.
those shades
Right.
in to be sold in Malaysia. You know, it's there. It's actually there, but we are just not given. We are not.
Access.
Yeah, we're
Right.
not even. Yes, there's no access for us. You know, there is no access, and because if you do want to go, if you want to go into like expensive places, yeah, they exist, but it's about having access to cheap, affordable makeup for
Right.
girls who just want to
Right. Yeah.
dress up. But it's so hard.
Yep.
It's so hard. It's like my shade in shops is the darkest shade, and I know so many people who are darker than me. And it sucks because sometimes I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't even help you. I can't even go out and search something
Right,
for
right.
you because it's not there. You know, it's just horrible. That's why I mean it affects you in so many different ways,
Right.
like
Right.
your daily life. It's really crappy.
It's good that you mentioned Maybelline. So yeah, if there's any
Sponsor.
exec from Maybelline watching, sponsors.
Yeah.
Just start name dropping all the
we
makeup
have
brands.
disclaimer, okay, so we can continue our topic. So
Yeah.
but yeah, it's true. Products for most products that are out right now in the industry, like everything, like beauty products, their main goal is lighter, fairer. Like that's
Yeah.
like, you know, they are pushing towards, like they are saying, if you are dark, you are not beautiful. You have to, okay, this okay, they show a white lady or a fair Indian or something. They show this is what you should be. Now buy
Right.
our products and start spoiling your skin. So that is what it's what behind that's what's behind their
Right.
marketing and what products they put out lah. Like and it's true, like we can't get that kind of stuff here in Malaysia, like foundation for darker skin and all that, because the companies, the people who are in control, they don't believe that market exists. Like, okay, for
Yeah.
you, okay, for them, in their point of view,
Right.
they only think about business, you know. They want quantity and everything. So they see the products that are like going good in sales are the products that make people fairer and all that. So what they do, because they need
Right.
those stuff to like go out and get sold,
Right.
right? So they'll do
Yeah.
whatever they need to do that. So they will start working with the media, they start working with that and this
Perception,
to
right.
change people's mindset. So it's a big game. It's a big game. It's not just as simple as, or people want it, but it's not there. So it's a big game. It's they try to make it, make people like not want that and want something else, and they have a big supply of that,
Right.
and they push it lah, so they can make good sales.
Yeah.
So,
but even
yeah, it's a
now,
big
like when
game, you know,
people,
it's big,
I've
yeah.
forgotten what music video it was. This Chinese music video. This guy, she kind of like darkened the skin color of this Chinese girl, and then she started using something, and then she became so fair, and then she gotten attention, and I mean, people talked about it.
Yeah.
People were like mad, like, you know. I feel like now, like what Anne was saying, it's a very progressive state now,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
simple things, when people do something like that in the eyes of the world, it's gonna get crapped on. You know, people are gonna talk about it. People are gonna be like, "Yo, this is wrong," and I think it's a good thing that we're heading in that direction, but not everyone's gonna feel the same way.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah, true.
and sometimes I wonder if I'm living in a bubble, because obviously, like, I only keep the people that have around the same mindset as me, closest to me, right? So I'm like, okay, I feel good, like, you know, everyone's moving in a good direction, but sometimes I'm like, oh my god, am I living in a bubble and everyone is actually still not as progressive as I think they are? Because you still see the comments, and it worries me, because you know why? I always feel like, okay, if our generation is like up to date in like what is good, what is right and what is wrong, we can teach the next generation. Like for example, like Ashraf, you mentioned your mom earlier, like talking about like getting a fair wife for you, right? If you agreed with her, you are gonna have kids and you are gonna teach them that same mindset, and that's another generation.
So Ashraf, please don't.
You know, you get what I mean?
Yeah,
so
but it's true.
Like,
it's
so
true.
yes, it's so
Let's not talk about my.
yeah, it's like so important to like really everyone,
It's
you
true.
know?
That's how the ideology gets passed down, lah.
Yeah, because it's
True.
like, for
I
example,
agree.
if I agreed with my grandma and then I have kids, I am going to project the insecurity on my kids are going to want to be fairer, and then it just goes on and on and on, because that's what's been happening, you know? It's like
the whole reason why that thing is still existent from the times where, like I said, it's basically generally in the whole wide world, it started with colonization lah, the European colonization. What they did was like they affected our grandparents parents and all that, like, so the reason why it's still here is because no one talked back to them, no one spoke up about the issue, like, go away. I don't give a shit if I'm dark, like, no, why are you telling me what I should do because of my skin color? So no one actually talked back until now, until recently. From my point of view, I saw this coming up really really strongly after the Black Lives Matter movement, from when George Floyd passed away. God rest his soul. So for me, from my point of view, it started from there. Like, people started like being proud of who they are, you know, because that happened during when COVID started. So everybody was at home, everybody was like on their phones the whole time. So this movement, like, now only people are talking bad, like Nat and Anne, like y'all like didn't, like, from the get go, you didn't like feel like, oh, I should be proud, because you've gone through that insecurities, you know what I'm saying? Like, you tried then you spoiled your skin and all that, and then you realize that this is my identity. Why should I budge so that these fuckers can feel comfortable?
Exactly.
You know?
Right.
So
But it's like what you said. Correct. Let's make a movement, Ashraf.
I'm organizing a rally, you know.
But like what you said, you know, it really affects, I would say, maybe, you know, for myself and maybe for Anne as well, that when you do something and you learn your lesson, it's where you actually realize your self-worth, in a sense, you know. Just like how for example, you break up, you know, you go through so many heartbreaks, and then as the next heartbreak comes about, you are more tougher in dealing with yourself, because your self-worth is right there already, you know. But I guess it's different for many people, you know, also in terms of dark skin as well. So for me, I'm so thankful that I've learned it the hard way, and now I'm really so appreciative of my skin color and how it is. But I just want like people to like know that it's not wrong. You are never in the wrong. If you're a fair skin, dark skin, whatever skin it is you're in, you need to be proud and embrace it, you know. If you don't feel like you're proud of it, then, you know, there's something that you need to work on, something that you need to self-love, in a sense. But what would you say, Anne?
It's important for your mental health also,
Very
what
true.
Would you say,
What would you say to like people who are feeling this way now, like insecure about their skin color?
I think, you know, it's not easy to just to straight up tell somebody, like, you know, it's going to be okay, your skin is beautiful and all that, because it's hard to believe something like that when you don't see a lot of people, like dark skinned people, in the media, you know. It's like you can deny it all you want, but celebrities, social media, like just like the, you know, the artist world, the acting world, they play a huge role in making people feel like, you know, they're inclusive, they're okay, they're normal, you know.
Yeah.
You know, because can you imagine a kid growing up and then like they don't see anyone that looks like them? It you can't blame the kid, you can't blame the teenager for feeling like they're not pretty, you know, just because they're dark, because that's what they're being taught. So I think it's, you know, as much as I want to advise like the younger generation, the kids, the teenagers, I feel like the more important thing is to, you know, to speak to like this, to the media, the big companies, to tell them to be freaking inclusive. Like, we are not lesser than you just because of our color. We are intelligent people, we are smart people, we are fun people, we have, you know, it's like, so to me that is, because there's no point, in my opinion, there's really no point in telling like a little kid that she's beautiful if she looks around and she doesn't see it herself. Society needs to be a mirror of like that message, you know, because once it becomes a norm, it's not even a lesson you need to teach, it's a norm. You know, that's what
it's a norm. That's very true. That is the sentence right there. It's a norm. It's not
correct
an a different thing or whatsoever. What about you, Ashraf? What do you think?
I agree with what Anne said. It's very true. Like, if you can tell someone all you want, but if they don't see it for themselves, I don't think it's going to work. So it's true that how we to move forward with this is like have more representatives or representatives of dark skinned people. But this is all up to the people who control everything. It's not up to, we can fight all we want. They have to understand that we dark skinned people have a market, and people don't necessarily feel scared when they see us. So this is something they don't understand, because in their minds they just want to sell, they just want to push products. They don't care about progress or the mental health of a 10-year-old dark skinned girl who's going through discrimination in school. Like, she can't do what she wants to do. They don't care about that. About that. So what we have to do is we have to build from the ground up, make sure change the people. We go fight to change the people who are on top, because at the end of the day, they are the ones who are pulling the strings and everything. So it's true. It's a stigma. It's been here for a long time. Okay, I'll tell you an example. So this happened in the recent Maharaja Lawak mega when some of our friends, some of my comedian colleagues who Prakash Daniel, Fu Chin Ho, and Farid Azmil, they are stand-up comedians who joined Maharaja Lawak. That Maharaja Lawak is mainstream media lah. So you see, there was this joke that Prakash Daniel, an Indian stand-up comedian, a dark-skinned Indian, he has a big beard. So when he came out, his first joke was, I'm sorry guys if you are listening to this, I really suck at repeating jokes. But I'm trying my best lah. So what I'm doing this joke. So the joke, the premise of the joke is a Chinese guy owns a mamak shop. So the Malay guy comes, he gets confused. He thought the Indian guy Prakash was the owner of the mama, but it was the Chinese guy. So so he asked lah, kenapa Cina boleh buka mama? And then the Chinese guy say, saya punya jiran, my neighbor is a mama guy, so I got inspired by him, so I also opened mama. So what Prakash responds to that is, but it's just top class lah. Prakash said, but my neighbor is a Malay. How come I still cannot enter UiTM? So that was like, whoa, crazy. The audience, everybody just silent. Malay, they want to protect their hak Bumi Putra. So they all just shut the fuck up. Everybody was silent. The comments came in on what they call that, on Facebook about that thing lah. That joke, like, this is not funny. This is not a normal issue to talk about in a comedy show. Right after them, another group came. this guy was darker than like the darker one, but the jokes they made, the
Right.
jokes they made were associated with his dark skin. Like why his girlfriend is fair, he is dark, so they make a joke about that, like the dark skin thing, you know. So you can make a joke about somebody being dark, but when somebody dark makes a joke about the discrimination they are going through, it's wrong.
Right there. Yes. Correct. It's the
I don't have.
hypocritical.
I will drop this mic if you want to, but you have to buy me a new one.
But yeah, it's the hypocritical state
Yeah,
that we're
it's-
living in that
yeah.
is so annoying. Just like what the joke that Prakash said about the mama and the UITM thing. It's like,
yeah,
you know, where is the balance there?
yeah,
It's basically everyone just they will if it's entertaining them, if it benefits them in any way,
yeah.
then they're all for it. But the second, because you know what, okay, if you brought that up, Ashraf, there is another
Yeah.
really good example is
Yeah.
the discrimination that maybe Indians get in Malaysia, but but they will hop on the culture like in 2 seconds. You don't gotta stop them.
Yeah.
They will be in the sari, the bindi, everything will be on in 2 seconds. If you
We're looking at
if-
you, Food Panda.
yeah, it like they would, because it's like I think it's very common when in like for example, like this is just for one specific example, okay, not in only speaking of this specific thing, but like in Malay weddings, a lot of the inai nights is always Bollywood themed. A lot of like my different race friends, the second it's like Deepavali, everyone wants to dress up. They love the culture, they love the outfits, they love the shiny bangles and all that. But the second you ask for a bit of like, hey, come on, see us as equals, it's like nope.
Yeah.
Whatever. Right.
So
yeah.
it's like
Yeah, the
Yeah.
kampung fuckers will sit in the mama shop eating Indian food and ask the Indian to balik India.
Yeah.
You know,
you
they'll
see,
be
that
eating
is
our
like the annoying
food.
part.
They'll suck on our culture. They lot of them make money from our culture. What is kuih?
Correct.
You know the kuih, what they call that? The fake name is kuih telinga keling. What's I forgot. It's
Korea, is it?
the real name is Adirasam
Eh?
lah. The Tamil name is Adirasam, but I forgot.
Adirasam, right.
So I forgot the Malay name. So a lot of people so that's our culture. And they selling it. I'm not saying they make it shitty lah. Some of them make it good, but they are sucking on our culture, but they are
Yeah,
throwing us away. Yeah, yeah.
Correct.
so whatever that benefits
that's what
them,
ends.
whatever that benefits. So it's kind of
Yeah.
crappy, that's why I
Yeah.
feel it's a lot of work. I don't know if it will be okay by the time like I'm old. At least I think it's gonna need
Right.
like 2-3 generations of work
Yeah.
before we see
But-
like proper
Right.
progress.
Yeah.
That's the thing lah. We can't
But like,
expect it
yeah,
to change.
correct.
We have to work to change it. We can't be like our parents, our grandparents, just shut up and just just for the sake of living in this country and not getting thrown out. This is our country. We have nowhere to go, guys. Like
No,
yeah,
it's not
right.
as much as our country as it is
when they say
everyone
Bali
else's.
India, are you really gonna Bali India? Where are you gonna
No,
go?
I'm gonna Bali China.
Where you gonna go?
China
Ah.
lah.
I
What
wasn't
else?
even-
Opposite
So
lah.
this is our
Going
country,
opposite
so
world.
we have to work to fix it lah. So
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I think the one thing that I feel is hopeful. I am hopeful that good things are going to come out of like people having conversation about this, like what we're doing in podcasts
Yep,
and
true.
people pretty much talking, voicing out about their opinions on media and the inclusiveness of dark skin into portraying it to the media. So that's my hope. I'm very hopeful about this. But what about you guys? What is the one word that you can describe for the future when it comes to this topic?
I don't know, it's tough because like you mentioned, it's good that we are having this conversation, but I think like we need allies in like like if it's just the dark skinned people talking about it, it's just moving in between us, it's not getting like out there.
Yeah.
So we need a lot of like allies, like people, and I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of amazing friends and like really close like family members and all that stuff who really believe in it. But like I said, sometimes I'm worried I'm living in a bubble, and
Yeah.
so there is there's just so much work to be done. It's like I want to be hopeful, but I don't want to I don't want. I'm so big. Yeah, I don't want to. I just don't want to be disappointed. But you know, I guess you just gotta wait it out, see how it goes. I guess. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Yeah.
And fingers crossed. And Nat, what hope do you have? Apakah harapan anda untuk negara ini pada masa depan? What's your hope? Uh, yeah. Yep. Phew. Yes. True, true, true. True, 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 true. I would like to say, like, if there's any young people watching this and you are still in that, insecure period in your life, hopefully you come out of that, realize that being dark or being whoever you are yourself is not wrong. You are you. You can, the more you try to be like someone else or like someone in your head that you imagine, the more stressed you'll get, the more you'll run away from your own goals. So yeah, hopefully the young people or people who are maybe older than us also who still live in that, insecurity, hopefully you all come out, realize about your own potential, no matter what your skin color is, what your race is. So hopefully you all leave the insecure side, come join the secure side, and Maybelline, please sponsor us.
Yeah, right there. Okay, and also hashtag white people are always wrong. Anyways, so that's the end of our show. Thank you so much, Anne, for joining us and really having this conversation with us. It really means a lot.
Yes.
I hope you have stayed motivated lah already.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. All right. Yeah, alright. So before we end, we will always like to ask our guests and also Ashraf, of course, to join in when we say thank you and everyone stay motivated lah. So we say it together, alright? Alright? Okay. Alright guys, thank you so much and please stay
motivated.
Motivated lah.